Clearing codependency and emotional enmeshment. A codependent relationship is a dysfunctional dynamic where one partner's needs are excessively prioritized over their own, and the other partner thrives on being needed. It's a cycle of dependence where both individuals become emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically reliant on each other, often leading to unhealthy relationship patterns. While not a formal diagnosis in the way that mental disorders are, such patterns of behavior may continue to adversely impact our relationship karma, often devolving into ongoing conflicts, recurring family issues, power struggles, and difficulties in communication. Codependent relationships may also significantly impact our own personal psychological health and well-being. Some of the key characteristics of emotional codependency may include excessive dependence, where one or both partners rely too heavily on the other for validation, emotional support, or self-worth. Karmic imbalances, where one partner may be the giver, sacrificing their own needs to meet the others, and the other the taker, unfairly benefiting from the imbalance. Low self-esteem, with the codependent individuals struggling with self-worth, identity, and a sense of their own needs and desires, and enabling behavioral patterns, where one partner may enable the other's unhealthy behavior, such as substance abuse, immaturity, or irresponsibility, by covering up problems or shielding them from consequences or emotional repercussions. These characteristics may lead to either emotional enmeshment or damage to the emotional fabric or integrity of the relationship. Accordingly, where familiarity may breed contempt, on the flip side, it may also breed comfort. Such enmeshment may be brought about through lack of healthy boundaries, where one partner feels controlled or manipulated, or the separation between self and other gets blurred. Difficulties maintaining independence, where either partner may struggle to be independent or to engage in activities that don't involve the other. Or outright relationship addiction, where one partner seeks validation and love from the other, often at the expense of their own well-being. Spiritual response therapy is a very good system for clearing emotional codependency. For more information about how to be trained in SRT, see spiritualresponse.org. Transforming Blockages is another useful multidimensional healing system for transforming codependent relationship dynamics. For more information, please see Jill and Remi's webinar series at Twin Flame Healers and QuantumUnion.com. And as always, please remember to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I appreciate the energy exchange. Hello, this is the Lady of Shalott, and welcome to this SRT clearing on emotional enmeshment and codependency. So I have assembled a group body and I have prepped it to work. And by group body, I'm defining that as all listeners to this recording now and in the future. The lineages you're connected to. So these may be biological lineages with whom you share DNA, but also non-biological lineages. Cultural, symbolic, religious, non-religious lineages even. And I have also included your immediate soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, and all of your high self teams committees. Okay, let's get into the work. So, Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael, God team, Forces of Light. What is the positive and negative number that this group body is running on codependency, emotional enmeshments? We're getting that the positive presently is at 50. And what is the negative? It's about 85. Okay. And what is the level of consciousness vis-a-vis codependency, emotional enmeshment? And it looks like it's at universal God consciousness, which is about a third of the way up along chart 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started by rebalancing that positive negative number from 50 positive, 85 negative to 100% positive, 0% negative, from that of universal God consciousness all the way up to radiant love new paradigm. As I'm dowsing on that, you may hear my pendulum clicking. And I'm going to start to lay in some clearing statements to help with this process. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, from inception to present time and into the future. Clear all duplicates, copies, backups, rebuilding, replication programs, clear mirror images and melt the mirrors. Clear all the programs that may trigger these. Clear anything hidden, buried, covered up, lied about, denied, cursed, or avoided. Body memory, memory impingements, emotional impingements even. Anything else the soul may be hiding in connection to codependency or emotional enmeshment. Please clear this in 0 time. Again, for all listeners to this recording, now and in the future, the lineages they're connected to. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And as we're clearing, I'll define universal God consciousness from the SRT dictionary. The arrows at this level on chart 3 indicate that when a soul reaches that level, there are many paths it can travel in the ongoing process of soul growth. If toxic shame is running as a master program, that's asked to burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear guilt, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. Again, if it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear jealousy or envy, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. And sexual coveting, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Those are some of the obvious master programs that come through. Detzler also notes that at the universal God consciousness level, souls take part in the formation and manifestation of the physical universe, galaxies, and planets. Okay, and we're stopping. All right, so where to next, please, as it concerns clearing emotional codependency and enmeshment? We're going to chart 1. And where do we start? And we're getting soul energy programming, chart 11. Okay. We're getting codependency of different aspects of the soul. There's that word, codependency. Anything else? Pre-programming of the experiential path. Okay, let's get both of those cleared. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, please. From inception to present time and into the future. Clear the cellular level, DNA, clan and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And I'm going to define both of those presently from Detzler's Soul Recreation. Codependency of different aspects of the soul. The basic path of the living soul was established by spirit long before the soul entered the physical body. Each individual's path was based on the elements that went into the soul as pre-programming. The complete structure of the soul programming and the many aspects cannot be compromised, as every aspect is dependent on every other aspect functioning in perfect order and harmony. High Self says that if inharmony occurs at the soul level and is not resolved, dissolution could take place, and the soul would then go back to basic spiritual energy within the consciousness of spirit. And the second program we're clearing on this chart is pre-programming of the experiential path.
Spirit decided to extend itself into being and experience something other than being absolute good. This could only be done by creating beings like itself within itself and have them experience. Each individuated expression of the one consciousness, including you and me, has been keyed for a different experience, a pre-programming of the experiential path. Thus, no two of us are alike, yet we all began and are still contained in the consciousness of Spirit. High Self informs me that this is correct to the extent of my present understanding, and that is all that will be given at this time.
So especially since these programs in Chart 11 are associated with the Lord of Lords level of consciousness, where of the 900 million possible life paths, the soul can now choose any combination of up to 20. If there is inharmony, then dissolution would take place, and the soul, therefore, would lose the ability to choose. The pre-programming of the experiential path, meanwhile, ensures we all have a unique individuated expression. The free will component that is introduced here is interesting. Alas, we lose sight of that if we become too codependent or enmeshed with other souls in the process. And we're stopping? Where to next?
And we're getting, is it conscious mind, Spirit, or is it master programs discordant energy chart 6A? It's conscious mind? Okay.
In SRT, when a soul first incarnates, it has 13 minds and 14 bodies. A body is a structure or state of consciousness to which all of the possibilities and programming the soul needs to learn and grow are downloaded. A mind is simply an accumulation of concepts, programming, and understanding at a certain level of the soul's existence and expression, from the mind of Spirit through the descending levels of Chart 3 into physical expression. The first 6 bodies comprise the spiritual nature or living soul. The remaining 7 make up the physical nature. As the soul ascends the levels listed on Chart 3 through the learning and incarnational process, it gains additional bodies up to 18 and minds up to 90. Some of the bodies are a subconscious mind, some are a conscious mind, and 3 have both a conscious and subconscious mind. A subconscious mind is the computer or recording bank, and a conscious mind is the working mind.
So, Spirit, what are the blocks that are anchoring or sponsoring the emotional codependency enmeshment at the conscious mind level? Inside. We're getting excesses. Outside. Sexual abuse. Anything else? Inside. Cowardice. Others? Inside. Addictions. Outside. Are we getting injustice or insanity? We're getting injustice. Anything else? Outside. Malice. Anything else? No. Okay, so we're asking to clear all of those through all levels, layers, depths of Chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities from inception to present time and into the future. Now, if any of these are also running as master programs or as soul programs or even as spiritual programs, let's ask to burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. Clear the cellular level, DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. Now, especially with the sexual abuse and the addictions and the excesses even, I'm correlating that with the sacral chakra. So what I'm going to ask to do, I'm going to go into the etheric body. And I'm also
Going to simultaneously ask from all conscious minds as appropriate to remove and bind anything demonic, satanic, luciferic, sources of all evil, attachments, entities, implants, cords, psychic hooks, psychic ties, soul fragments, binding agents, revoke permission, remove and bind Kali, Estrella, Krishna, and beyond to escort these dark forces to their perfect place or to the light, please. Yep, something released there. Reclaiming any lost soul fragments now and cleansing. Isis, Osiris, help us perform a soul retrieval. Reintegrating the fragments now with the soul through all levels, layers, bodies, minds, past, present, future, forward and backward. Putting each conscious mind back together again where there is soul fragmentation, or it may be putting the sacral chakra back together again. Let's blaze the sacral chakra with violet flame. Saint Germain and Archangel Zachiel are violet flame holders. In Theosophy, they serve on the 7th ray of freedom. So we're just blazing this energy center. If it's appropriate to sever any negative energy cords, let's ask that that be done. We can visualize them taking the violet flame, pushing the flame through the cord. The cords dissolve, or in some cases, the peskier ones explode. Now, we can think of these cords as between ourselves and other people. We may be aware of who the people are that we are enmeshed with, that we are codependent on, but we also may not be aware of who these people are. In fact, they could have been people that we or our ancestors had past life karma with even. And since addictions came up, let's also ask to clear away any addicted souls, extra souls, hidden souls, multiple souls. Let's ask to apply SRT power code 3x5 to help assist with that. Also 9x9 for personal protection, 12x8 to trap any of those that may also be separates, discarnates. Good. If it's also appropriate to repair sacral chakra energy cords, let's take that same violet flame, Saint Germain, Archangel Zachiel. And as appropriate, let's just do the repair. If you identify as a twin flame, we share chakra docking cords with our counterpart. So for twin flames and soulmates, where they have an active soul contract to be together in sacred union, especially, let's go ahead and repair those sacral chakra energy cords. Just scanning, checking for any cracks, fissures, tears, repair. Good. Okay, I'm going to go directly to chart 6B now, and I'm going to download and apply positive expressions directly into each conscious mind or into the sacral chakra as appropriate. Your high self teams committees will know how, if and how, any of that applies to you. So download these energies through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners to this recording now and in the future, the lineages they're connected to, soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams committees. And we're stopping. What have we downloaded, please? Inside abundance. So the codependency may have been blocking our abundance. Outside, we're getting justice. Okay, so that replaced the injustice we got before. Inside, justice may also suggest that we release some of the sexual trauma that the sacral chakra was holding. Inside, we're getting consideration. Outside, sympathy. Anything else? Outside, sincerity. Okay. These next ones imply healthier energetic boundaries. Self-control. Anything else? Outside, We're also getting perseverance, which may imply increased strength and willpower. Where to next, please? Archangel Michael, Lords of Karma. God team, please. We're now going to Spirit Energy Programming, Chart 12. Is that correct? Yes. And what comes up here? Now we're getting codependency of spirit on God. Very interesting. It's not surprising. Anything else? Loss of hearing God. Okay, so some of us receiving this clearing may be clairaudient if we're losing our hearing of God. That still small voice within is our intuition as well. Okay. Let's get both of those programs cleared. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. Clear from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners to this recording now and in the future, clear the cellular level, DNA, clan and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. Chart 12 does correspond with the Queen of Life level. Codependency of spirit on God. We are completely dependent on spirit for our very existence, for in spirit we live and move and have our being. We are what we are because we are part of spirit, an extension of spirit's energy and likeness. We are forever in and of spirit. All that we have is of spirit because spirit is both the source of all good and the gift. All is spiritual substance in myriad form. Jesus called himself the Son, the enlightened one of God. We too are the sons of God, and when we are enlightened, we know the ultimate and complete truth of our being. We are spirit. Many people have a belief that they are separate from God or spirit and have their own creative powers in life. This is not true, as they are part of spirit and can never be separated from spirit except in their own beliefs. Separation would be like the leaf in the tree saying it is separate from the tree and has a life of its own. We are codependent on spirit, and when we attempt to separate, we believe we're separate from spirit, and we set up negative beliefs that must be eliminated. We are because spirit or God is, and spirit is because we are that which spirit expresses and expands consciousness through. And we also have loss of hearing God. We are fully aware that there are 5 physical senses. What we are not aware of is that there are also 5 inner spiritual senses. Unfortunately, we have lost contact with the 5 inner senses. Of these, seeing and hearing are the 2 most important. Yet many times we are blocked from our inner hearing and seeing because the programs that were established long before our first incarnation. We can, over a period of time, reestablish these 2 important spiritual senses through the practice of prayer and meditation by becoming still and looking and listening for, yes, that still small voice within. And Detzler also shares that several times in the past, he has been told that he had psychic intuitive abilities. However, it was not until he started to work with SRT that he began to be aware of inner pictures and sounds he was receiving directly from high self. My high self tells me that they were giving me information 100% of the time when I was working with them. Sometimes I am very aware of that information, and other times I'm not. It depends on whether I'm looking outward with my consciousness, concentrating on the charts and pendulum, and depending on them for information. Or if I am working with my inner eyes and ears and looking inward for answers. Your high self is giving you information right now. Learn to look and listen within, and you will be amazed. So it's interesting here how Detzler observed that when he was overly reliant or codependent on the charts or pendulum, that he would succeed in losing connection with his high self. In my experience as a spiritual practitioner, what I notice too sometimes is that we have to be very careful about oracle abuse. Sometimes when I have a question, I still find I might prefer to tune in with cards and other divination tools, but it can create a lot of unnecessary confusion for me if my answer isn't validated. So it's important, especially if you're going to use tools, to have a question you don't already know the answer to, is where I was going with that. Okay, and I'm stopping. Okay, where to next, please, for this clearing on emotional codependency and enmeshment? Are we releasing vows? You want me to go to the vow chart? Interesting. Okay, so are these sacral chakra vows? Some of them we're releasing. And I'm getting a yes. I'm going to go to chart 24, which is called Rebirth of the Conscious Mind. And what comes up here around codependency, emotional enmeshment is a vow to abdicate love. Okay, that could be running at either the sacral or heart chakra level. What else? A vow to question the status quo. Okay, anything else? Vows to abdicate personal power. Yeah. Abdication programming, I'm surprised that hasn't come up yet, is those programs are listed on chart 17 and very much relate to codependency and unhealthy power dynamics, especially in a relationship context. And now, Spirit, what is the level of consciousness that these vows are running at, please? To abdicate love, what level of consciousness is that running at? So it's a commitment. Interesting. Okay, what about to question the status quo? So that's a buried belief. So that's quite strong. That's interesting. So if we're committed to abdicating love and there's a buried belief to maintain the status quo, this may be reinforcing a comfort zone, which may be keeping us stuck in old relationship templates, especially if we identify as a twin flame or soulmate and we or our counterparts are still in a karmic marriage. That could be blocking or delaying the union, for example. Vows to abdicate personal power. That's a solidified pattern. So we're giving away our personal power by settling. So these are all quite strong. I can see why they want to be released. Okay. So before we get into the SRT vow release and karmic clearing ceremony I plan to do using Transforming Blockages, I wanted to read a little bit more about vows from the SRT dictionary, where Detzler notes, vows are part of the plan to experience duality, which is a major process of learning. These are established at the Godhead and are downloaded into the etheric and first astral bodies as part of the original DNA and chromosome potential. There are both positive and negative vows. Once the soul incarnates, it has the potential of experiencing both forms of vows, positive and negative. Incarnation is your opportunity to work with energies and see what happens when the different energies are encountered. And here I'll add that since vows are part of duality, it's good spiritual hygiene to regularly clear them because they unnecessarily bind up our energy and restrict our power. In my experience as a spiritual practitioner, as we ascend and learn to internally validate, increasingly we no longer need vows to externally motivate and reach our full potential. Vows may also have been consciously or unconsciously undertaken in a personal past life or relationship context. In SRT, for example, many of these are simply known as heart vows, or they may have been carried over from a past religious lifetime or lineages. Other systems, such as Transforming Blockages, tend to correlate them with the karmic themes of different chakra centers. Hence my question earlier about clearing sacral chakra vows. Okay, so let's get comfortable and get into the karma clearing ceremony now. Archangel Michael, Lords of Karma, we're asking for a dispensation of grace to release this group body from any and all remaining soul contracts, past life vows, or karmic agreements that are no longer in alignment with the highest good. We ask to forgive those who've trespassed against us, and we ask for their forgiveness at the soul level. We ask for them to release us of all karma now as we release you, so that we all can go on to our highest path. If there is any unforgiveness, resentment, or grudge energy associated with the undertaking of these vows, we ask to heal our hearts in relation to these people. We ask to do this for ourselves, our sacred partner, and our ancestors, and any combination, any permutation within this group body where there is something to be worked with, resolved, released, vis-a-vis codependency and emotional enmeshment. Specifically, we ask to free all souls involved from any and all remaining vows to abdicate love, personal power, or to question the status quo, as well as sacral chakra vows of chastity and sexual abstinence, vows of ownership, sexual slavery, or harem-related vows, vows of power, indenture, or servitude, even old marriage vows, which can sometimes be attributed to the sacral chakra. In SRT, there is also a release statement that practitioners use to accomplish this. If you were to book a personal healing call with me, I would chant it 3 times and send it to you in your follow-up to work with on your own. But for the purposes of this broad group clearing, I'm going to repeat it once and set the intention for it to be repeated 3 or more times as appropriate by the Lords of Karma, God Team, and our High Self Teams committees. So let's do that now. We ask to revoke, rescind, and release any and all vows to abdicate love, personal power, or to question the status quo, whether consciously or unconsciously undertaken, at the levels of commitments, buried beliefs, or solidified patterns, respectively, through all 7 realities, and we choose to stay open to daily guidance and decisions that are in the highest good in the here and now. We are okay as we are, and we praise Universal Source. Okay. Where to next, please, for this clearing on emotional codependency and enmeshment? And we're now going to beyond looping or chart 29. We want to clear beyond looping. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to define beyond looping for the recording. So again, we're asking to clear that program through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities from inception to present time and into the future for all listeners now and in the future. Soul group extended, soul group monadic level, all of our high self teams committees. And I'm just going into the SRT dictionary for the official definition. Beyond looping, once the soul has completed its learning at both the physical and spiritual levels and returns to source, it may continue to expand, to follow spirit as it expands, really, at all levels, and this is called beyond looping. This can burn up a lot of energy, so have the desire to be involved with looping cleared. Okay, I can see how that's codependent and how that could create enmeshment, sure. Something we commonly do as practitioners when we prep to work is we ask to close access portals at new paradigm level, leaving only open the appropriate number for high self to pass through. If there are non-essential portal ways open, then beyond looping can still occur. We can also ask to apply SRT power codes 7x4 and 3x1 to help close any non-essential portal ways we're connected to. As I've explained in other clearings, this is important to prevent bleed over between realities, especially if we're running parallel lives or universes. Let's also ask to triple shield us to the power of 3 times 3 with light, both for each of us separately, as well as to protect the energy of this group body, please. Thereby, we're one world, many people. And we're stopping.
Okay, where to next? So we in fact do want to continue on to chart 29, final blessing, and that is correct, they're telling me. Okay, we're clearing the first draft. What else are we clearing? Queen of Life factors. Anything else? No. Okay, so we're going to clear both of those, and again, I'll define them for you. These are different. We haven't had these programs before. So again, clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners now in the future, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. The first draft, containing all the elements of the divine plan, is then written much as the specifications are written for a human home or place of business that is to be constructed. These are the specifications that will be followed by creator beings at the Godhead level as the spiritual realms are created. All of these elements of the embryo will then begin to be enacted, first in the spiritual realms and ultimately in the physical realms in a trickle-down process, as above, so below.
And now for the other program, Queen of Life Factors. Detzler refers us back to chapter 2 in Soul Recreation. But in the SRT dictionary, and here he defines the Queen of Life on chart 3, this level of consciousness, Spirit calls Queen of Life is the womb of creativity. That is where the spiritual body is created. From the King of Kings, there are 45,000 ideas, one or all that go into the Queen of Life. Then at the Queen of Life, there are 150 more elements, and these are all the DNA chromosomes. And in Soul Recreation, he does go on to say, right, at the Queen of Life, there are 150 more elements or factors that can go into the makeup of the spiritual body. Any one or all of them, and in any order or mix. This is the body of ideas that will be expressed as a spiritual being, and all the spiritual being will encounter and become as it progresses along the path of experiencing at many levels of consciousness. The spiritual body contains a subconscious mind, and High Self says it has 5 million compartments. Something else Detzler notes about the Queen of Life level is that it contains within it the preceding level, which is known as the King of Kings, the perfect idea of a spiritual man or woman, the Christ ruling in consciousness. So that perfect idea relates back to the first draft, the specifications we read about before. But since all of those factors go into the Queen of Life to form the spiritual body, interestingly, this also implies that it is both male and female. So just as a body may have either a conscious or subconscious mind or both, as we were discussing earlier in the clearing, so too may it be androgynous. This concept comes from Genesis, but Plato's Symposium also asserted that androgynous humans were split in two by Zeus, hence the whole twin flame ascension journey. Where to next, please?
We're going to memory clearing or checklist. Memory clearing, chart 31. And what comes up here? We're getting divine plan. Okay, so that's related to the first draft, which came up earlier, the divine plan. So we'll read that. What else? The rim of creation. Anything else that comes up that wants to be included in this clearing on emotional codependency enmeshment? And we're also getting creator consciousness. Okay, let's get those 3 programs cleared, please. Again, all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, please, from inception to present time and into the future. For all listeners to this recording now and in the future, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees, please. So here he says the divine plan is the next step is to draw the divine plans for the new one universe. So that comes after the embryo. This plan contains all of the elements, right, of the embryo. This plan contains all possibilities, including the basic primal fears carried over from the previous one universe. And we did clear some of that. In the blocks to abundance clearing, we did clear some, right, of the basic primal fears, because we were guided to clear the 2600 pathways. And we cleared the embryo a number of times in that clearing. So if you haven't done the blocks to abundance clearing, I refer you back to that clearing as well. The next program we're clearing was Rim of Creation. The Rim of Creation was shown to me during 1992 and looked like a wagon wheel with 12 lines through it. 11 of the lines are support systems for the advent of mankind, which is the 12th line. And he does have a more extended or up-to-date definition for that in the dictionary as well. So let me just go in there too and read more on the Rim of Creation. He says, when I first was shown the Rim of Creation, I thought it was a wagon wheel with 12 lines running through it like spokes. Later, I saw it was a sphere with lines meeting at the center. The 12th line stood up like a steel rod, and the other 11 lines wove around it like a maypole dance. Spirit says the 12th line is mankind, and the other 11 lines are support systems for mankind. They are fire, water, air, earth, animal, bird, fish, vegetable, mineral, consciousness of light. Only after the 11 are in place can man exist on a planet. Symbolically, the planet was 5 days in creation or preparation before man was created.
So, if such a support system isn't in place, then man cannot exist on a planet. Thus, life itself would seem to be codependent on the Rim of Creation.
And then the final program we're clearing, Creator Consciousness. That was the last program. This involves clearing the 56 million elements that go into the makeup of the physical body when the soul chooses to incarnate.
In the dictionary, Detzler also notes that creator consciousness is not an office, but a presence. In addition to clearing the 56 million elements that make up the physical body, creator beings also take part in the formation of planets and solar systems. Aha! So this implies that creator beings are involved in the creation of the support systems for mankind.
Okay, is there anything else to include in this clearing today? And I'm getting a no. Okay, so we're going to head into a full wrap-up, mop-up on the topic of this clearing today, which was on emotional codependency and enmeshment. And I'm just starting to douse on a wrap-up, mop-up checklist. And as I've noted in other clearings, if you were to book a personal healing call with me, we would go through the whole checklist. And to do so, all the details for how to book with me are listed beneath this video. And if you are a first-time client to the Lady of Shalott, you do receive 25% off. Okay, so working with the God team, Forces of Light, Angels of Light, Lords of Karma. We're asking to clear anything we haven't known to clear here today. Asking to clear 100% of 100% of all remaining programs on 100% of 100% of all remaining charts. Asking to clear anything not on charts. Clear Alpha to Omega, ensuring our records are clean, cleared, organized, brought up to date to reflect the full benefits of this particular clearing today. Making any necessary tweaks, adjustments, changes to our pre-birth plan, which could include the first draft and the divine plan, like the 2 programs we cleared earlier. Activate our divine blueprint, which is related, bringing on board more of our soul's original gifts to help serve us on this next leg of the ascension journey, or it may be an incarnational journey still for some. Clearing away any accidents, injuries, dementia, illnesses we may have pre-planned. Asking any ancestors who joined us today that they be returned to the spiritual realms from which they emerged. Thank you, ancestors. We ask you to send forth your blessings. If there's any mind-body work that wants to be included in this clearing today, brain restructuring organs, glands, cells, tissues that wish to be treated, homotoxicology done. Let's ask that that be done automatically in consultation with healing angels, healing committees, angels of light, again, to help assist, attune and calibrate to the best appropriate level for vibrant health and well-being. Could be at the level of 200 courage, 350 willingness, 500 love, 600 peace, or some suggestions. Asking them, just in a very broad spectrum way, to run a head-to-toe search and clear, asking them to seek out, find out, locate the source of the affliction, the source of the malady, the source of the dis-ease or illness, even as appropriate. If there's any direct healing processes, colors from chart 7 that would aid in that process. Shapes, healing shapes or symbols from spiritual healing therapy. Let's ask again that all that be done automatically. Good. Durga Amora, to help with grounding and integration, please clear the sacrum, the root, the legs, the ankles, the feet, the space between the feet, the space beneath the feet. Clear and activate the chakras at the soles of our feet and ground down onto Earth Star Chakra. Or it may be onto grounding cord, please, with Mother Gaia and Archangel Sandalphon. Okay, and as usual, we will end with a tone for the root chakra, but I'm also guided to add a tone this time for the sacral chakra. So we'll start with that one first, since we did release some sacral chakra vows, and we also went right into the etheric body and released some dark energies and attachments. So we will use the vowel tone oo, O-O. So take a deep inhale with me, and on the exhale, we'll tone oo. And if you'd like to join me, feel free to do so. Ooh. Good. And a tone for the root. As usual, we'll use U-H. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.